What if I told you a massive explosion inside the United States at one of its most important oil refineries might not be an accident? What if this was something deeper, something planned, or maybe something hidden? And what if Iran already warned the world that it has eyes inside America? On March this month, 2026, a powerful explosion hit a major oil refinery in Texas. Flame filled the sky, smoke covered the city. People were told to stay inside. Officials say we are investigating. Some early reports suggest it could be a technical failure. But online, a different story is spreading fast. A story that says this was not an accident, this was sabotage, and behind it, an Iranian spy network. So, what is really happening here? Let's break it down. It started with a loud blast in Port Arthur, Texas, one of the largest oil refining area in the United States. An explosion hit a major refinery operated by Valero. This facility processes around 435,000 barrels of oil every day. That means one thing: this is not just any refinery, this is a critical infrastructure. Witnesses described a massive fireball, thick black smoke rising into the sky, houses shaking miles away. Authorities quickly issued a shelter in place order. People were told to stay inside, close your windows, and do not go out. For hours, no one knew what was going on. Here's what we actually know: no casualties were reported, all workers were accounted for, air quality was later declared safe, and most importantly, the cause still unknown. Some early reports suggest a possible industrial heater malfunction, but nothing is confirmed. This is where things get serious. This incident did not happen in isolation. It happened during rising tensions between the US and Iran, threats targeting oil and energy infrastructure, global fears about supply disruptions. In fact, oil prices were already unstable because of this conflict. So when the refinery exploded, it raised a dangerous question: coincidence or maybe something more? Within hours, social media exploded with a different theory. Iran did this. Sleeper cells inside the US. This is a retaliation. Some posts even claimed Iran had already warned it could use networks inside America. And now, here's the important part: there's no confirmed evidence that Iran was behind the explosion. Right now, this is a narrative, not a proven fact. But the reason it's spreading so fast is because it feels possible. And let's be honest, this idea did not come out of nowhere. Iran has already shown it can target oil facilities in the Gulf, shipping routes, energy infrastructure. For example, during the ongoing conflict, Iran has carried out attacks on energy sites in the region. So people are asking, if they can do it there, why not inside the US? This is what makes this story powerful. Not the explosion itself, but what it represents. Because if this was a sabotage, that means foreign intelligence networks are active inside the US, critical infrastructure is vulnerable, the conflict is no longer overseas, it's inside America. But we need to stay grounded right now. Authorities have not confirmed sabotage. There's no official link to Iran. Investigations are still ongoing, and history tells us something important. Many refinery explosions in the past were caused by technical failures, even deadly ones. So jumping to conclusions can be dangerous. But the timing of this explosion during a major geopolitical crisis is exactly why this story is gaining attention. Because in times like this, people do not just see accident, they see patterns, they see threats, they see war getting closer. To understand why this story is spreading, we need to look at something rare. No rumors, but strategy. For years, Iran has invested in intelligence operations, not just in the Middle East, but around the world. And yes, that includes the United States. Iran does not always fight directly. Instead, it uses what experts call asymmetric warfare. That means cyber attacks, proxy groups, intelligence networks, influence operations. Quite indirect, but powerful. Here's where things get serious. Iranian officials have in the past warned if the US attacks, Iran will respond in ways people do not expect. Some statements suggested the battlefield would not stay in one region, it could expand, and that includes inside enemy territory. Now, this does not mean there are confirmed spy cells everywhere, but it shows one thing: the idea is not impossible. Could sleeper cells exist? And this is a very important question. This is the question everyone is asking right now. And let's be clear: there's no public evidence of an Iranian network attacking US oil refineries. None. But intelligence experts agree on something important. Most countries, including Iran, try to build networks abroad. These networks can include informants, cyber operatives, people watching key locations. Sometimes these networks stay inactive for years, waiting. That's why people use the term sleeper cells. But again, there's no proof they were involved in this explosion. If Iran wanted to target US infrastructure, experts say something interesting. They would more likely use cyber attacks, no physical explosions. Why? Because cyber attacks are harder to trace, less risky, easier to deny, and Iran has already been accused of cyber operations before. So if something did happen, it may not look like what people expect. And now let's talk about the bigger picture. This story is spreading fast online, but there's a problem. When people believe something too quickly without evidence, it can lead to fear, panic, misinformation, and sometimes that's exactly what hostile actors want: confusion, division, uncertainty. So, right now, the world is already on edge. Tensions between the US and Iran are high. Oil routes are under pressure. Military forces are on alert. So, when something like this explosion happens, it doesn't stay local, it becomes global. A single incident can trigger international reactions. Now let's bring it all together. Here's what we know: a real explosion happened in Texas. The cause is still under investigation. No official link to Iran has been confirmed. Here's what we don't know: if this was sabotage, who could be responsible, whether any foreign network is involved. And here's what's spreading online: a powerful, emotional, but unproven narrative. So, in moments like this, the most dangerous thing is not always the explosion itself, it's the story that follows, because stories shape how people react, how governments respond, and sometimes how conflicts began. So, the real question is not just did this happen, but also who benefits from us believing it did. So right now we're still waiting for answers. Maybe this was an accident, maybe it was something more. But one thing is clear: the world is entering a new kind of conflict, where the line between truth and narrative is becoming harder to see. And sometimes the first version of the story is not the real one. So until the facts are confirmed, watch carefully, question everything, because the next move might already be happening right now, and no one is talking about it.